start with our small prayer. Om Jnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Pradanti Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. आप सबको सुबह शुभोदय. So we were discussing on the pastimes of Haridas Thakur and discussions between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. So today is one of the very important things that I'm going to discuss, especially for a life of a devotee. And Haridas Thakur has set a great example. He's, we can say, has set a benchmark for us. So in Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna says this three things are very important for a devotee to make a note of, to have a control of. And we have a great example of Haridas Thakur who has set that standard. So Bhagavad Gita says तीन विषय होता है जिसमें हमें बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट तरह से we have to work on it. So वो तीन विषय भगवत गीता में है, एक काम, एक क्रोध और एक है द्वेष. So these three things actually affect us in the deterioration of our devotional life. And this story, this pastime of actually Haridas Thakur, although we might have heard it several times, we can see that how the Haridas Thakur has actually conquered all these three. Conquering lust is very difficult in this material world. Conquering anger is very difficult in this material world. Conquering enviousness is very difficult in this material world. But we can see from that pastime how Haridas Thakur was able to do so. So we know, right? In when Haridas Thakur was actually there, present in Jagannath Puri, actually, he because of his devotional service, he was getting very famous there. Like he was getting attraction of lot of people there. So one of the bureaucrat who was present there, एक bureaucrat जो present था उधर, उसका नाम था रामचंद्र कांत. तो रामचंद्र कांत बहुत द्वेष उनको बहुत द्वेष बढ़ गया था हरिदास ठाकुर से. वो कैसे भी कुछ भी करके हरिदास ठाकुर को अवमानित करने चाहते थे. So what he did was once he actually went and approached the most beautiful prostitute there, and then asked her that he said actually the glories of Haridas Thakur, and then asked her that somehow she could attract Haridas Thakur, and so that he can actually defame Haridas Thakur. So this prostitute, after hearing about Haridas Thakur, she became more attracted to Haridas Thakur, and she accepted the offer that she will definitely do it. It's very easy for her to do these things. So he said, Ramachandra Kant made a plan that somehow you go and attract him, so that I will make sure when he gets attracted to you, I'll ensure that all the peoples actually come there, and then we can defame him in front of everybody. So this lady said that after hearing all the pastimes, she got attracted to Haridas Thakur, and she said that no, give me 2 days time. One day I will have pleasure with him. I will have a nice enjoyment with him, and then second day you can do that. So such was even the prostitute was so much attracted after hearing about Haridas Thakur from Ramachandra Kant. So this prostitute actually went in front of Haridas Thakur's house. She went to the Haridas Thakur's house. So Haridas Thakur was very young, very attractive for her, and then she went very nicely dressed with all her feminine beauties. She went in front of Haridas Thakur, and then Haridas Thakur was nicely chanting the holy names of the Lord in front of the Tulsi plant. She went and actually sat near Haridas Thakur and started showing all her feminine beauties in front of her. So Haridas Thakur saw this lady, but he was actually concentrating, meditating on the holy names of the Lord, and then just was saw that this lady was present and actually trying to attract him. But he was not disturbed. He was continuously chanting the names of the Lord. But this lady was actually trying to put a lot of attraction. See how she's trying to develop the karma onto Haridas Thakur. But since Haridas Thakur was very strong, after some time, then he asked the lady actually, "What do you want? Why have you come here?" So this lady started saying that I have actually, you are looking so young, you are looking so attractive. So why don't I will give you the greatest pleasure? Why are you wasting your youth like this? Why don't you have pleasure with me? She makes an offer. So Haridas Thakur could understand what she wanted, and then Haridas Thakur said that I have promised to my spiritual master that I will chant so many 3 lakh rounds of Harinam mantra. So if you can wait for me, then I can have pleasure with you. I will definitely satisfy whatever your wish is there. I will definitely do that. Just see here how when Haridas Thakur, when he's speaking these words, he's actually meditating on the Lord, and then somebody comes and actually is actually making a completely opposite nature of offer, completely trying to disturb them. But instead of even becoming angry on the prostitute, Haridas Thakur did not show any anger at that point of time. Instead, he received, in fact, he responded in such a way that the prostitute could also take advantage of her, advantage of the chantings of the holy name. So he did not exhibit any anger on Haridas Thakur, sorry, on the prostitute. So Haridas Thakur was very, very presentful during the situation also. And then he started chanting, continued chanting, and then this lady was hearing continuously, and it became very late. So Haridas Thakur said that now it is very, very late. Why don't you come back tomorrow? So similarly, this lady went, and again she came on the second day. Even on the second day, Haridas Thakur was nicely chanting, and then second day also nothing happened. So third day, Ramachandra Kant actually met this prostitute and asked that nothing is happening. What are you doing? Then this lady said, "No, no, this is the final day. This day I will somehow make things happen for you." So the final day again she went. Again she tried to attract Haridas Thakur, but Haridas Thakur again made this offer that he will chant, complete the rounds, and then actually have pleasure with her. So somehow she agreed, and third day also she was hearing the chantings of the holy names of the Lord. So just by hearing this holy names of the Lord continuously and continuously, even though she came with a very bad consciousness, just she got purified by the chantings of the holy names of the Lord, by a pure devotee of the Lord. So just by hearing that the holy names of the Lord, her heart actually melted, and she actually gave up her desire to have pleasure with Haridas Thakur, and then she fell onto the feet of Haridas Thakur, and with lot of tears in her eyes, she said that I actually came here because of the offer made by the Ramachandra Kant to actually defame you. But now I am completely purified. I want to actually take initiation from you. What should I do? Please give me initiation. Please accept me as your disciple. I want to do that. So she actually fell into the uh, onto the feet of Haridas Thakur. So immediately Haridas Thakur said that, okay, I know that this is not. I know that this was your intention, but actually I could have gone away from here on the first day itself. But I stayed back for the next 2 days only because of compassion for you. I wanted you to take this Harinam. So that is why, so that you can get purified. Because of that, I actually stayed back. So this is the compassion that a devotee shows. He's not only worried about protecting himself, but he's actually trying to show compassion towards the fallen souls. So this Haridas Thakur actually sets an example here by showing compassion towards the prostitute. And then she accepted, he accepted the offer made by the prostitute to initiate her to give the Harinam, but Haridas Thakur said that now you have to go back and give all your wealth that you have accumulated and just come back completely depending on Krishna. So this is what Haridas Thakur said to her. And similarly, she went and then she gave all her wealth and then came back completely, the white sari, came and surrendered to Haridas Thakur and took initiation from Haridas Thakur. So see, in those days, the level of dependence on Krishna was complete. Like they have to completely give away everything and then completely depend on Krishna. So such was great faith in those days. But now in current situation, our dependence on Krishna is like here and there, here and there. But our acharyas actually set examples in such a way that they actually completely surrender on the dependence of the Lord. Lord. So here we can see how because of the influence of Harina and complete faith on the holy names of the Lord, Haridas Thakur was able to conquer the inconquerable character of this material world, that is the Kama and Krodha. And not only that, the enviousness, he was not affected by the enviousness of the other devotee. So Prabhupada very nicely writes in one of the purports of Bhagavatam, where it is explained that how the peoples of people in Ayodhya, they actually got freed from enviousness and actually went back to the spiritual world. So in this regard, Prabhupada writes this beautiful purport. I'll just read it for your benefit. It's a very important part. So Prabhupada says that even in religious life, it is sometimes found that if one devotee has advanced in spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. Such envious devotees are not completely freed from the bondage of birth and death. So until we are freed from enviousness, we are not freed from birth and death, Prabhupada says. One cannot enter the Sanatana Dhamma or the eternal pastimes of the Lord. One becomes envious because of being influenced by the designations of the body. Just like we saw in the past times how Ramachandra Kant was affected by the designation because he was a great official and he was not getting enough respect as Haridas Thakur. He became envious because of the designation of the body. But the liberated devotee has nothing to do with the body and therefore is completely on the transcendental platform. So we can see how Haridas Thakur was completely free from the bodily designation. He was not affected by good or bad things. He was not affected by the by the love or hate. So he was completely free. He was completely free on the from that completely free from the material platform, and he was on the transcendental platform. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even if enemy. Haridas Thakur was not envious, even with his enemy, the prostitute. Because the devotee knows that the Lord is his supreme protector, he thinks what harm can the so-called enemy do? Thus, a devotee is confident about his protection. So here you can see how Haridas Thakur was so confident. Why he was so confident? He was so confident because he had the protection of Harinam with him. So that is why he had complete faith on it. And that's what Prabhupada also says. The devotee knows, because the devotee knows the Lord is the supreme protector, he thinks what harm can the so-called enemy do? Thus, a devotee is confident about his protection. Not only that, Lord also says that Ye yatamam prapatyante tams tateva bhajami aham. That means, according to the portion of one surrender unto me, I respond accordingly. So we saw in the case of Haridas Thakur, Lord actually responded to him. A devotee must therefore be completely free from envy, especially of other devotees. To envy other devotee is a great offense, a Vaishnava aparadha. A devotee who constantly engages in hearing and chanting is certainly free from the disease of envy. So this point what Prabhupada makes a devotee constantly engages in hearing and chanting, Shravanam and Kirtanam, is certainly freed from the disease of envy. So very nicely we have seen in the pastime of Haridas Thakur also how the prostitute also became completely free from all the three important disease of this material world, the Kama, Krodha and Lobha. So this is a practical examples of how we should actually reform ourselves so that we can practice devotional service in a better way and achieve the desired characteristics. So this examples sets forth as an example of what to be done, how to be done, so that we can reform ourselves and engage more nicely and very happily in our devotional service. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you.